Hey guys, and welcome back to the Alpha Exchange YouTube channel. I'm your co-host Sylvia,
And I'm Justin.
and thank you for joining us again for another segment of getting you started in crypto. So by the end of today's video, we're going to get you started in TradingView, show you how to set up your chart and identify some key indicators that every new trader should have on their chart in order to start doing some of that technical analysis. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
So, you've just gotten into crypto, you're looking trying to figure out what your next move is, and our strongest suggestion is to start with some charting. If you haven't signed up already, check the link in the description below to use a referral code to save on TradingView. If not, you can always sign up with a free account and take advantage of a lot of the free offers that TradingView provides. So Sylvia, you're new to trading and you recently got started. What were the biggest hurdles and questions you had when you first got into TradingView?
Thanks, Justin. When I first looked at TradingView, I noticed that there's so many different options, but all I wanted to do is set up my first chart to look at Bitcoin. What's the easiest way to do that?
Yeah, so once you log into TradingView, Sylvia, the first option is you can either go to the search bar here and type it in, or select chart. So if we select chart, that brings up our candlestick view here. So this gives us the candlestick pattern that shows the price action over a given period of time. So in particular, this is showing us the day chart. So it says 1 day here. And specifically, this is showing us the price of Apple Inc. on the NASDAQ. The other piece of information here at the bottom with these green and red bars is the volume, or the number of trades that went through for the given time period. Now, like you said, all you want to do is get started and take a look at Bitcoin. So if you want to do that, you go up to the left-hand window here, and then you can type in BTC for the Bitcoin acronym. However, you notice you get a whole bunch more information here, things like Blue Sky Digital and other market information that isn't Bitcoin. So how do you pare it down and figure out what you want? Well, we can go into the subsections here so you can see that there's options to see all of them, specifically in relation to stocks. We also have economic indices, bonds, indices for markets, forex trades, futures, as well as cryptocurrencies. Now for cryptocurrencies as well, you can further narrow this down. So you can notice there's a whole bunch of different exchanges listed here. So our recommendation is to use either the exchange that has the highest volume, so that would be Binance Global, or to use the exchange that you're going to be trading on specifically. So if I wanted to say specify Binance Global, I can simply type Binance and then use the colon and type in my symbol. And now this limits all my search results to the specific exchange that I want. So those of you that aren't aware, Tether or USDT is typically the largest trading pair, which is a stable coin used for trading in crypto exchanges. So now we have the Bitcoin chart up.
So looking at the overall menus, I noticed there's a number of different options for indicators. Starting at the top view ribbon, what are some of the most key things someone getting in TradingView should first know?
Yeah, so the account setting button or the 3-bar hamburger button, which lots of vloggers call it, gives you your account settings. So this gives you the ability to customize your view. So one of the things we typically recommend is most people like the dark view over the light view. So you can toggle that in this menu, as well as this left-hand panel here, which is the drawing panel, can also be toggled on and off, including the language that you want to view TradingView in. The other thing that we strongly recommend is if you're going to be doing a lot of charting is download the desktop app. It's far less resource intensive than using the web platform. There's a few other key things here that I'd also recommend. One, you can share your chart. So it gives you the ability to share the URL at the top of the screen to friends and community members so they actually can see your chart play out in real time. And the autosave button. Now, depending on how you interact with charts, you may or may not want the autosave button on. That's a choice that's up to you. In addition to the account settings, as I mentioned previously, we have the drawing panel here on the left. So we have basic drawing indicators shown here for doing simple chart analysis, more complicated charting tools for doing different types of price action indication, drawing tools for the chart for doing free-form shapes, text messages and other indicators, and as well, many people don't realize this, Twitter plays a big part into markets these days, so you can actually take the URL from Twitter and copy and paste it directly onto TradingView, and it'll time align from that tweet occurred to the given market that you're looking at. And then we have some very advanced pattern recognition charting, as well as charting options for specifying date ranges, short and long positions, forecasts, which you can check out in future videos, as well as emojis. Everyone loves a good emoji. Charting's no different. And the measure tool, which is quite useful for looking at changes in pricing, whether it's going up or down. You can also access the measure option here by holding shift and then clicking on the chart. It gives you the ability to bring up the measuring button. So that summarizes the drawing panel on the left hand side. But the top panel is a whole other set of indicators as well. So in addition to just being able to look up symbols, we can also compare symbols. So with the plus button here, we can add multiple symbols to the chart. So say for instance, you want to know how is Bitcoin doing compared to the S&P 500. So we can add the S&P 500 and Bitcoin to the same chart, so we can see those relative to one another. We can also change the representation of the candles. So right now, each candle shown on this chart represents one day. So we can change that by going to the menu here and selecting different ranges. So we can select the hourly charts, minute charts, and second charts if you pay for the premium service. And this simply is just changing the length of time displayed on the window, as well as the amount of data encapsulated in each candle. In addition to that, we can also change how these candles are viewed. So there's a number of different metrics here for looking at candles. We can look at them as areas, baselines. Baseline kind of gives you the average price over a range and how much of the chart is above or below that. Candles is the typical trading format though. And then this brings us up to alerts. So we can set price action alerts on the chart, as well as the replay functions gives us the ability to replay the chart over a period in time. Now, when it comes to actual indicators for a chart, that brings up a whole nother question. So what are some of the indicators that you found helpful when you got started, Sylvia?
So some of the first indicators that I found really helpful was understanding Bollinger Bands and linear regression.
So you can type the name of any indicator into the indicator panel here, and it'll search through. So there's indicators that are provided by TradingView themselves under technical, and then there's also community scripts that community members have actually written the code for to provide as a useful tool. One other thing we strongly recommend is on the left-hand side here, you can add these different indicators to your favorites. So this gives you a quick pick list of indicators that are helpful that you use on a regular basis. So like Sylvia mentioned, Bollinger Bands, linear regression are two of our favorites, as well as you can also add things like moving average, convergence, also known as MACD. So this gives me the ability to now have a chart set up with some indicators. So one neat thing that we can also do, so on the left hand side here, you can see that my indicators are shown on the screen. So I can also check out the settings for each of my indicators here by hitting the little gear icon and customizing the parameters for not only how it's charted, but the style that it's viewed in, as well as the visibility that it has on the different charts I'll see it. I can also remove them from my chart, so the little X button here will remove them. And I can go back up to my indicator here and add additional ones. Perhaps relative strength index I might want to look at to see whether or not things are overbought or oversold. But one issue you can see now is that my chart view is getting rather limited. So another option I have is I can combine windows on the chart. So if I go down below here and if I click on my RSI, my relative strength index study, I can right click on this and I can now move it around. So I can now move this to the existing pane above, or in other words, I'm now combining my RSI and my MACD with one another, and now they're both encapsulated in this single chart here. And my relative strength index is now indicated on the left hand side, and my MACD is on the right. However, I can also move these scales around, and I can move the scale to the left or the right hand side. So if I select the chart indicator, I can then click on the chart indicator and I can tell it to pin the scale to the right hand scale, or I can move it to the left, and vice versa. If I select the RSI, I can pin that scale to the scale on the right, or I can make a new scale as well. So it gives me options here for customizing how I want to view this data and how I want to simplify my charting view. Once you've come up with an indicator package that you like Sylvia mentioned, she likes using Bollinger Bands and linear regression, you can come up to the top here, and right next to the indicators, you have the ability to make indicator templates. So now when I go and create a new chart view, I can just simply add that template to my view, and I don't have to go through the process of setting all this up again. So let's just do that right now. Let's make a chart indicator here, and I'll just call this linear plus MACD RSI. And now I can choose to remember the symbol in the interval, but I generally like to click these off since I use it across a broad array of different cryptos, stocks, and equities. So I'm going to save that. And now from the drop-down menu here, you can see I have this available. And again, with the template views, you can also create favorites of these and enhance your trading experience. So that wraps up the options for the ribbon panel on the top left. What are some other things that you had trouble with when you first got started, Sylvia?
I think one of the other things was understanding whether TradingView allows me to make any trades and actually get started using those different types of indicators. And one of the options that I found interesting was the paper trading. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
We highly recommend anyone getting involved in any markets that wants to start trading is to practice. So the biggest thing when it comes to practicing trading is setting up and not risking your capital, because it's very easy to lose money. It's very hard to make money. So on the right hand side panel here, we have a number of options. So if you bring this up, this will bring up a set of watch lists. So you can create custom watch lists in here for different things that you want to take a look at in the market and keep track of, whether that's things in the stock market, futures, Forex, or indices like the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, or cryptocurrencies themselves. So you can make up all these different watch lists. You can also look at them in an advanced view and see how these are kept track of in bigger sectors. Very helpful and very good for sharing. Again, if you want to share these with friends and community members, you need to turn on the sharing option, and then you can then provide a bigger options for having discussions. Moving down the panel, we also have alerts. So on the top menu here, like I brought up before, alerts give you the ability to set up indications to yourself. So whether that's based on price action, crossing points, relative changes, this gives you the ability to send yourself alerts to the app via email to try and keep a track on the market without having to always watch it. So you can see the list of alerts here, and it gives you the ability to manage those through the menu. You can also get news for the underlying symbol that you're looking at. You can see data, so this is information about the indicators that you have on the screen right now. So this is the data window that gives you a little bit more granularity into what's going on. Hot lists is basically keeping track of what markets are moving, depending on what you want to see and what markets you're interested in. Again, these can be customized for your typical views. Calendars of events for global events that are coming up that are going to affect markets. Ideas, so when you start using the publish button, you can publish your ideas and get feedback from the TradingView community, as well as posting those to Twitter and Facebook to try and get a broader audience to see if your thoughts are aligning or other people thinking they're converging with your thoughts or diverging. And you'll get feedback on those ideas through the My Ideas panel. In addition, you can also join the public chats. So the public chats on TradingView are live 24/7. Just like the Alpha Exchange Twitch channel, you can come in there, or a Discord, share your thoughts and ideas. So you can do this via sharing the URL at the top of the page if you have sharing turned on. And you can also take images of your chart via the copy link to image, or actually getting a direct image that you can copy paste into text and messaging apps. So this brings us down through to the order panel. So if we turn on the order panel here, this now gives us the ability to buy and sell. But in order to do that, I need to link an account. So in addition to not only having accounts linked, you can also have a paper trading account link. So let me just log out of this since I signed in previously. So you can link not only actual brokerages accounts to TradingView, but you can also link a paper trading account. So paper trading is a service provided by TradingView to let you simulate and practice trading. So we recommend setting your account balance to something reasonable. When you first start your account, TradingView gives you $100,000 to trade with. But most people getting started, don't have $100,000 in disposable income that they're going to start trading on, we recommend you use something reasonable that's going to represent what you're actually going to trade with, whether that's $100, $1,000, or $10,000. Go to the paper trading settings here, click Reset Paper Trading Account, and type in a value here that's reasonable for you. Let's use $5,000 to get started. And I'm going to reset my account, and now my account balance has started at $5,000. This window down here will also show positions you have open, orders, histories, account history, as well as your trading journal. So let's take a look. So if I think the price of Bitcoin right now is going to uptrend, I can create a buy order here on the right hand side, and I have the options of doing markets, limits, and stop limit orders. So let's say I think the price of Bitcoin is going to keep uptrending, and I think that I want to take a buy a little bit under the current price at 42,100. So in general, we don't recommend placing trades at even numbers. These are psychological thresholds. If I think the price is going to come down to 42,100, I'm going to want to place my price either a little bit above an even multiple, like 42,107, or a little bit below if I think the price action is going to dip a little bit further. So why don't we try 42,093? And since I'm creating this as a limit, and right now that's for one whole Bitcoin, well, I only have $5,000 in my account, so I'm going to need to reduce this to something a little bit more reasonable. So why don't we do 0.1 of a Bitcoin, which will be roughly about, as you can see, the trade value down here as $4,201. So let's click a buy for that right now. And if we come down to the paper trading panel, we can see that my order is now sitting on the books waiting to get picked up. You can also see that my buy limit here is on the TradingView chart, and I can modify my take profit and stop losses for this trade, as well as I can actually adjust my trade directly on the chart here. So I can take this and drag it up and down the chart. So let's go to a little bit finer time frame. So again, top menu, I can select the 5-minute menu, and I can see here that the price is coming down. So perhaps this is a good price to leave it at, and I might just have to be a little patient and wait for this to happen.
And thank you, Justin, for showing us the paper trading option. And just for everybody out there who's getting started, like myself, I found the paper trading to be extremely valuable. It's a really great way to actually get in the market, test out how your technical analysis is panning out in real life, but not have that additional stressor of being able to lose money. One of the other key things I'd also like to recommend for traders getting started with pay-per-view is getting used to the software and knowing what buttons to click when and how to set the right parameters. This, of course, can be challenging, and thinking about a real situation where you are trading, you're under pressure, you want to make a quick decision. The last thing you want is to be unsure what different areas to toggle or what buttons to click in order to make what you'd like happen. Again, a great low risk environment to practice those skills as you're getting ready to make your first real money trade.
That's a really great point there, Sylvia. Knowing the tools that you're trading with is half the battle. So while Sylvia is talking, we can see that my trade got picked up and filled. So you can see that I've gone from an open order to a position order now in the bottom of the screen. But one thing I should definitely do is I need to protect my position. So if I hit the icon here on the right hand side, I can protect my position. That means I can put in a take profit and a stop loss. In addition, on the screen, I can do the same thing. So I can take a profit and stop loss. So stop loss is a minimum price that I want to exit my position at. So let's take a look at what that looks like right now. So if I hit the edit button down here, it now gives me the ability to set a take profit and to set a stop loss. So I think perhaps maybe my stop loss I want to set around just below the bottom of this wick at minus 0.18%. So I can specify this as a price, or I can specify it as a percentage here. So let's specify it as minus 0.18%, minus 0.18%. So you can see that my price is going to be down here, and now let's also set a take profit. So I think it's going to run back up to the top of the channel here on linear regression. So the linear regression represents the average or the mean price over the last 100 candles on the time interval, and it shows me plus or minus 2 standard deviations. So this is basically representing 95% of all possible trades that should occur. So I think it's likely that we're going to run back up since we're in an uptrend right now on Bitcoin. So I'm going to set my take profit a little bit below the peak here at 1.25%. So now that I have these options set here, I'm able to secure my position and have a better feeling about the overall market and what's going on.
The other reason we always suggest that you set those indicators ahead of time have to do purely with the reaction of psychology when for somebody is under pressure and in the market. So it's always good to identify and set your boundaries before you start that trade. And more on that in psychology trading in a future video.
I hope you guys found this section on TradingView and getting started helpful and informative. And if you'd like more info in the future, please feel free to drop us a comment and suggest further content for us to get started with.
So thank you guys for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and like Justin said, drop us a comment. Also, we'd love to hear and see what types of charting tools you're using and how those are set up. So please feel free to use the share function and drop us the link at our Discord.
If you find the free version of TradingView a little bit limited, be sure to check out the description down below and use our referral code to sign up and save some money on TradingView. Also, don't forget to hit us up on our socials, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and be sure to join the Discord and start spreading your ideas with the rest of the community.
Until next time.
Peace.